Welcome to Seattle Side Up, everyone. My name is Rich Michelson. Joining me today, Ian Loney and Abe DeWeese, two biggest soccer fans here at SSU. How's it going, fellas?
Hey, what's
It's
up?
going good.
I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So, today the Sounders played the Houston Dynamo, and they didn't lose. They
Not
didn't win. Yeah, not technically. Ian, tell me about your thoughts.
Well, another disappointing draw. I think the third one in a row. Took some late game heroic. The Houston goal is kind of a fluke. Sounders have always had a hard time in Houston, so it's not a big surprise that it went the way it did. But it did take a pretty dramatic, surprisingly off a set piece goal from Obafemi Martins to tie it up, and one more point, and they're still on the very edge of either being really high in the playoffs or being nowhere in the playoffs. So, not a lot was decided today.
Yeah, this has definitely been a crazy year. Abe, last year, Supporters Shield winners, favorites going into the MLS playoffs. This year, limping in, a chance to miss the playoffs after 7 straight years, or 6 straight years, I should say. How you feeling? You've been a Sounders fan since they joined MLS. You jumped right on the bandwagon. What's going on?
Despondent, confused, annoyed, irritated, and just basically lacking a little bit of hope. I really am frustrated. Okay, they came into this game knowing that a win will put them into the playoffs. When they played, I don't know, I'd say about like 25, 30 minutes into the game, they had only 2 shots on goal. And those 2 shots were really weak. They weren't even on target. Will Bruin, the forward for Houston, came and he attacked and attacked and attacked. There's a reason why the Dynamo, if that's what we want to call them, Dynamo. For a team
What a
that's
ridiculous name, right?
Ridiculous name. Anyway, there's a reason why they had 11 shots on goal to our 6. It's because they wanted this more than we did, and I'm tired of this. The Sounders should have wanted this game, win it in the playoffs. Next week, you can rest people.
Yeah, I think the Sounders, it blows me away this year. I think on paper this is probably the best team they've ever had as far as raw talent wise, and they just haven't been able to put it together this year. And it's been one of those things where they just haven't meshed as well as they have in previous years. I think a lot of times they're trying to be too cute in the attack with Clinton Oba and trying to come up with one too many passes just to walk it into the net instead of actually just try and shoot sometimes. And there's just a lack of cohesion in the midfield. There's just a lot of things that just haven't really clicked this year that I've been waiting for.
Well, I'm going to give you a specific. Freeberg on the wing doesn't work.
I'd agree. Absolutely,
I agree.
absolutely.
That's
I will put it this way. Do you want to hear an interesting statistic that will blow your minds? Guess who has the best defense in MLS by far?
I don't know.
I'm
Galaxy?
guessing statistically the Sounders probably.
It's the Sounders.
Wait,
Yeah.
how?
They've allowed the
Yeah.
fewest goals
They've allowed the fewest goals, yeah.
by
Are
far.
you serious?
Yeah, like by 6 or 7 goals. We are the best defense in the MLS.
Because I
It's
think
the
we have the worst.
offense.
I feel like we have
It's
the worst back line.
offense. That's the problem.
Yep.
We don't. We have the best back line in MLS. Period.
Wait,
There's
you're
no one
saying-
even close.
Wait a minute. You're saying Reddick and O'Neal are
Yes.
so amazing that they've
No.
kept the goals
No, I'm
down?
saying that Evans and Marshall are 2 all-star quality center backs.
And Ozzy
That
Alonso is
dominate.
the best in the game in the
Yeah.
league. Yeah.
Yeah, that center of the back line dominates, and a ton of the goals that the Sounders have given up, especially on set pieces, have been the midfielders doing who knows what, not marking their men, or O'Neal Fisher, who's a rookie, and you expect rookies to make rookie mistakes, making like stupid mistakes. That we still have by far the best defense in MLS, which brings me to my first question for you guys. Does defense win championships in the MLS playoffs?
I think
Of course it does. Defense wins championship. I mean, this goes across all sports, right? The grand scheme is prevent the other guy from scoring, and you score more than he does. And defense it's a position in soccer where you have to have the buy-in of pretty much everybody but your forwards. And I think the more I think about it, like when you said that the Sounders defense is great, I think it might be those midfielders of the Sounders that are helping out. You know, your Ivanschitz, your, as you said, Alonso, and Papas. I think those guys are the ones that really lock things down, and they're the ones that are going to bring us forward because we have the attack. We've got the Dempsey and the Obafemi and the Nelson Valdez to make this work.
I agree. I think defense does win championships, especially in MLS. I think MLS playoff games tend to be really cagey affairs. No one really wants to commit forward, especially when they're the home team because of the away goals rule now. As you remember last year, they were all 0-0, 1-0 type of games. There wasn't a lot of scoring at all, and I think the team that can prevent that one goal is probably the team that's going to win at the end of the day. And I think it gives the Sounders a very good chance if they get into the playoffs. It's just a big if at this point.
Got to get there first, yeah.
Yeah, got to get there
so
first.
That brings us to the thing. Everything comes down to this coming Sunday, Decision Sunday, and all the matchups are crackerjack matchups. I don't think there's a bad one on the slate. I mean, every team that's playing here, it seems like every game has at least in the Western Conference, has an impact on the playoffs because everyone that's out of the playoff hunt right now plays someone else who's in the playoff hunt. So it's going to be quite the thing. Sounders play Real Salt Lake. Now, I live in the Salt Lake area, so obviously I get more Real Salt Lake content than anyone. But tell me your feelings about Real Salt Lake playing the Sounders for a spot in the playoffs. How are you feeling, fellas?
They're a terrible team. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Ian.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, they're a terrible team, but there are boogeymen. They are the boogeymen. They're the ones that always seem to play us tough, no matter whether we're up, whether they're up, whether we're down, or they're down. And this weekend, I expect them to give 100% and really frustrate us. And I'm terrified. I feel like they could actually force us into a tie or a loss that kicks us out of the playoffs.
I am nervous about this game as well. I mean, obviously the Sounders are a better team, and my hope is that Real Salt Lake will go down an early goal and then just have nothing to play for and just kind of give up. But the Sounders have a tendency to not to start out, especially at the beginning of games, come out a little flat in these big matchups when they absolutely have to win. They've had a tendency for years to kind of come out a little flat early, and I'm worried that that's going to happen again. And they might give up an early goal, give RSL hope. They might RSL might get fired up by the crowd here in Seattle, and just play inspired football and maybe give them some problems.
Well, I have to agree with you, fellas. So here are the two guys that you need to watch when the Sounders take the field on Sunday for Real Salt Lake. Guys you might not really be aware of. Number one is their brand new designated player, Burrito Martinez. Okay, This guy is a MLS Best 11 quality player. He is that good. He's dynamic. Wow. He can play center forward. He can play left wing. He can play right wing. He is dominant. He's flexible enough. He could play the 10 in that attacking midfield role right behind the forwards. He is a incredible player, and the runs that he makes are the kind of runs that can destroy a defense, even as good as the Sounders' back line. So he's the first guy. But the guy that you really need to watch out for, not because he's nearly as good as Martinez or any of the other stalwarts that Real Salt Lake has, is Devin Sandoval, who since Martinez has come on board has suddenly blossomed into an effective offensive weapon. He's like the fourth or fifth forward on the depth chart, but what he is he's a back-to-goal, number 9, great at laying the ball off to streaking, attacking wingers, which is the thing that just seems to drive the Sounders nuts. We lost earlier this year to Columbus, and he is not nearly as good as Kai Kamara as far as an offensive weapon, but he's just as good with his passing, his hold-up ability, playing back to net, and that's something that the Sounders really have a problem with, and he is just that kind of a player. So those are my two guys to watch out for the Sounders. On that topic, let's talk about potential, maybe getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but potential playoff matchups, which are crazy. So this year in the playoffs, the first 2 seeds in both conferences get a bye. And it's not like a weekly bye. It's just a midweek bye because the wild card game or the play-in games, if you will, there's 2 of them. Seeds 1 and 2 don't have to play that, but seeds 3, 4, 5, and 6 play each other for the right to face the first 2 seeds. And they play on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, on the schedule. Mm-hmm. And then have to fly off and go play that first, the winner gets to play the first leg of the next round on the weekend. So the Sounders at this point could finish in second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, or out of the playoffs. Nobody really knows. Yeah. But let's go through these other teams of the possible playoff matchups in the Western Conference, and I just want a quick response of: are you scared or are you not scared? FC Dallas, the Western Conference leaders. Ian?
I think FC Dallas is not as good as their point total. From what I've seen of them, I think they can be scary, but as far as a playoff team, I just don't see them going all the way this year. I think the Sounders can beat them. They're not the team that scares me the most out of this group by any stretch, even though they're going to be the number 1 seed.
FC Dallas they don't really scare me, but 12-2 at home, they know how to win at home. That's going to be a problem.
They're also 5-8-4 on the road, so they know how to lose on the road.
But if the qualifier is that home goals count more,
they actually home goals count a little bit less. Away goals. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So just a reminder, it seems like it was months ago because it was, but the Sounders blew Dallas off the pitch 3-0 in an affair that got out of hand for Dallas in the second half after Brad Evans came into central midfield and basically saved the game for the Sounders. For whatever reason, he seems to have their number in a few games. So
okay, well, if this is the case, then you guys got to be worried about the Whitecaps and the Timbers. They score away as well as they do at home.
Well, there's a reason that the Sounders did win the Cascadia Cup again back this year, because they played pretty well against Vancouver and Portland. So, especially Vancouver. I think Vancouver's a very good team this year, but I think that the Sounders can handle both of them. The team that scares me the most in the Western Conference is LA, just because they always, Robbie Keane, whatever you would think about him, he's an awfully good player and he just kills us. He always has, and I don't think it's going to change. The Galaxy just always seem to find a way to beat us in the playoffs, and if we have to face them, it makes me very nervous.
Actually, for LA, I mean, I am scared. They're probably the number 1 team in the Western Conference that scares me, but it's not Keane that worries me. I think that we'll be able to not necessarily stop Keane, but contain Keane. I think that will be a point of emphasis. It's the secondary players that scare the crap out of me. Okay, and this is funny. Giano, what is his name? Dos Santos. Oh. Yeah, Juninho, Dos Santos, Gerard, Zardes, and Leggett. And especially Leggett and Zardes bombing down the wings, getting behind our left and right backs, who early in the season were really, really stalwart. The last few weeks, not been super impressed with the left and the right backs defending the space behind them. So that just really, really concerns me.
It does. I almost feel like it's just, a situation where you just hand the Galaxy the title at this point.
It has seemed to be that way since Robbie Keane came to LA. But let's move on to the last team. So just quickly, Vancouver, Portland, you guys aren't scared?
No.
Okay.
No. There's potential. There's potential there for it to go badly, especially with the game down in Portland. But I think they'll pull them out.
Okay, so that leaves to the last 2 teams, and we're going to go San Jose Earthquake next. What do you? This team is kind of a conundrum. They got 47 points. I have no idea how. I've watched a ton of their games because for whatever reason they seem to be on the Unimos broadcast on Friday nights like all the time. I think they've been on like 4 of them this season. But I've watched them a ton. I'm just not impressed. What are your thoughts about San Jose?
Timbers and Whitecaps scare me more than San Jose does, because at least the Timbers and the Whitecaps have that hatred for us, and they're going to play their A game. I've never seen San Jose play an A game before. So yes, their 13 wins. I don't know where'd they get those from. I have no idea.
Well, they beat us twice.
Yes, they beat Seattle twice this year. Well, no, there was a tie.
There's tie in there, and
Yeah.
that first win was very early in the season. And what I've seen from this Sounders team, the early season team is nothing like what we have now.
No. Well, the early season team and certainly the mid-season team is nothing like the current team of the Sounders.
That's
I feel
certainly
like
true. Certainly true.
there's been like
Three
or 4
teams?
different teams
Yeah.
this year.
3 versions of the Sounders this year. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Well, heck,
So
I
the
mean, like Tomas disappeared off this team.
oh
We
yeah,
haven't seen him
absolutely.
since mid-season.
Who?
We
Right.
haven't seen him since the Orlando game. I don't think he's actually made an appearance since the Orlando game.
He
Yeah.
hasn't even been on the first squad.
In 18, no, he's
In the 18,
he's
yeah.
fallen off the cliff. And I was going to say one other random note is that we did see a Dylan Remick sighting after not being in the 18 for weeks and weeks.
Yeah,
All right,
got
guys, we're
started.
going to move on to our last topic. The last thing I wanted to say is Sporting Kansas City is the last team likely, and they are the other team along with LA that actually scares me, that actually worries me
Yeah, they're tough.
because of all the playmakers that they
Yeah,
have.
they have a lot of
Talked about
playmakers.
them, and the fact that other than Bruce Arena, the coach that scares the crap out of me is Peter Vermees, because he has won MLS Cup, he has won U.S. Open Cup, both as a player and as a coach. He knows what it takes to win, even though I hate saying that. But more to the point, he's got a candidate. He's got Benny Feilhaber playing an MVP caliber season. Any other season, he's probably number 1 or number 2. And this season, he's going to be way behind Giovinco and Kamara in the MVP race,
Yeah,
but
I'm a little-
deservedly so.
I'm a little worried about them because they beat us with basically their second squad. The only good thing is they give up a lot of goals. They give up a ton
true.
of goals.
That's true. Okay, so we're going to go to the last segment, which is Jurgen Klinsmann, U.S. men's national team coach. Now, Abe, you've got an article coming up here. It's going to be posted tomorrow.
That's right.
Tell us about why you have a love affair with Mr. Jurgen Klinsmann, the head coach and technical director of the U.S. team.
Because Jurgen Klinsmann, the famed World Cup German striker, is right. He's just simply right. He's right about everything.
Everything.
That's got everything. There isn't a thing he's wrong about. He picks the best deodorant on earth. He picks the best cut of sushi on earth. And he picks the best players that he can from a pool of mediocre players. That's right, America. Your players on the U.S. men's national team are mediocre. He does the best with what he can. He does the best with what he has, and he does the best that he can. There just isn't much to work with. And when he says he needs better talent, he needs better talent on the pitch.
Go ahead. Ian.
I agree with you. I think where we might disagree as to why that's the case. But you're right. I think Jurgen is right that the talent of the U.S. national team is not up to the level of many others. And the fact that the U.S. national team competes on a pretty even ground with a lot of much more talented teams like England, Mexico, etc., says a lot about Jurgen Klinsmann's coaching.
I have to say I can't disagree with you fellas more. Okay, this is a team that has gone to the last 7 World Cups.
Yeah.
You know how many other teams in the world can say that?
Like probably 7 or 8.
Like there's 7 or 8. Okay, this
Yeah.
is a team that has gone to the knockout stage of 3 of the last 4 World Cups and 5 out of the last 6. How many other teams?
It's easier
No,
to
no,
get
no,
to the
no.
World Cup in the
Knockout
North America.
stage. Knockout
Knockout
stage.
stage.
So yeah, we qualify. It's easy. Blah blah blah. You know what? You know who else qualifies easily? The team from Oceania. Okay.
Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, Australia, because they just have to win a knockout game against the CONCACAF 4th
Yeah.
place team. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's
Costa
lots
Rica
of
or something, yes.
there's lots of people that have easy qualifying. Okay. That's not the point. The point is at the World Cup, the U.S. has been getting to knockout stage of the World Cup since 1994. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good program. This has world-class talent. Look at the guys on the U.S. national team. Almost all of them have played in Europe.
Yeah.
Almost all of
At
them.
varying
Guess where they
levels, yes.
started?
Have past
Uh,
tense.
So
Well,
Right. So
most of them
so
aren't
what you
now,
have
is the point,
what you have is a
yes.
bunch of guys who were has-beens or never was. If they were so good,
like
they would still be playing in the
Tim,
MLS or not in
like
the MLS.
Tim
but in
Howard.
Okay, they absolutely have a world class goalkeeper. I will give you that. Like, Tim Howard's top 5 in the world, in my opinion. But the rest of the positions, I mean, most of those guys either were mediocre players on okay teams in Europe, like Dempsey. He was no superstar in England. He was good, but he was no superstar over there. Or were total flops, like God, I'm drawing a
Josie
blank.
Altidore.
Yeah, Altidore.
Or you look at Yedlin, DeAndre Yedlin's riding the pine over in Tottenham.
Well,
He's not
that's
playing.
part of the problem with American players going to England, of course, is that when they do go over there, they often are even given the opportunity, because I think that European teams tend to undervalue the quality of American players to a certain extent, and European scouts, I think.
Yeah.
And when players go over there, I don't think they get a fair shot because they're Yanks, and Yanks don't know anything about football in their eyes.
Well,
And I
Here's,
think
here's the thing: is that
Yeah.
that an American, if an American and a Mexican go to Europe, they go to the same Premier League
Sounds like
team.
the beginning of a
They-
joke. An
No,
American
well,
and a Mexican.
American and Mexican. Yeah, it does sound like the beginning of a joke. But I'm serious. If you take two players, they have the exact same skill set, stature, and everything's different. Everything's the same except one is from the United States and one is from Mexico. Guess which one sticks with the Premier League team? The Mexican.
But no, actually, Mexico
No.
has the same problem. Except
Not-
for
not-
Chicharito,
no.
there's not a lot of Mexicans in European leagues.
But that's not due to that's just due to their preference to stay in Mexico. They don't want to go to England because there's a language barrier. There's a lot of problems there. But I'm serious that this is a problem of perception between that Americans in Europe are not given a lot of respect. But I have issues with Jurgen Klinsmann, and my issues are concrete and real, and not just because he was awesome as a striker in FIFA World Cup '98, which he was. But
All right,
also-
Rich, you
my
gotta wrap
issues.
this up here.
I know we got to wrap it up, but here's my issue: there is no plan. There is no cohesive plan, top to bottom, throughout U.S. soccer. There is no. I want these players. I want to play this formation. This is what we're going to do. Complaining about the talent that you have when you are both the head coach and the technical director is completely 100% unacceptable. It's your damn job to develop the talent that you need. It's your damn job to develop the system to maximize what you have. And it's your job to develop a system and a plan at the youth level so that they're playing the same thing the whole way through.
Well,
Klinsmann has not done any of these things, and we're not going to the 2 tournaments he wants to go to. Results on the field have sucked. The last 6 matches, they have 1 win against Cuba, and they have 5 losses. This is on Klinsmann. He's made his bed. He's not doing anything with it.
He doesn't develop the system at the youth level, though.
Yes, he
That's
does.
not
He's
his
the technical.
job.
It is his job.
That's
He
not his
develops
job.
everything, yes, it is. He develops everything from the U16s all the way through the senior national team. He tells the coaches what formation they're going to play, which players to call up, and how they're going to play. That's his job. He's like this Uber GM. Technical director is like God of the soccer universe in the United States. That's his job.
Okay.
He's not doing his
You're
job.
wrong. You're wrong. I think people should just read my article and my argument. for Klinsmann.
I will say this. I mean, U.S. soccer has had a bad year, but the same coach also took that team, took Belgium to the absolute limit in the round of 16 of the World Cup last year. That wasn't that long ago, and I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt for at least another cycle.
Thanks, Ian. Abe, I really appreciate your opinions, even though both of you are wrong and I'm right. With that being said, we've had a great time here at Rave Green Magazine, talking all things Sounders and a little bit of U.S. men's national team. The angst will continue. Catch Abe's article on SeattleSideUp.com. Catch my rebuttal the next day, also at SeattleSideUp.com. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
You too.
Hi everyone, Bob with Seattle Side Up. Thanks for watching the video and we hope you like it. We've entered the 2015 Best of Western Washington Best Sports Blog. So please go to the site in the description and vote for us.